And you know, and wouldn't it be nice if we could balance this out and live somewhere down in that middle ground? On the show yesterday, we talked a lot about the sensitivity levels being very different between one generation to the other. And you know, I found that in most of the things that did appear different between these two generations was, um, kind of the best place to be would be somewhere in the middle. But Russ will talk a lot about how the pendulum always swings far to one side and then to the other, and you know. And wouldn't it be nice if we could balance this out and live somewhere down in that middle ground? Because um, this generation now they're so 180-degree different from that 80s generation, that Gen X, but at the same time there's some odd similarities too. The kids we dealt with in this film, the young people in this film, they were all terrific, and they were terrific kids. But the generation in general, they have different, they value different things, or they're cautious about different things than we were. And they told me such interesting things about how the kids were less interested today in learning to drive, getting their license. They don't have as big an interest in that. And I remember, my generation, everybody was signing up for driver's ed classes. The day they turned 16, it was like, as soon as I turned 16, I'm having my parents take me down to get my learner's permit. And that isn't the value now. They're like, it's a crazy world out there. I don't necessarily want to be out there as much. So all these little things we started, working into the script, all these differences in these generations where, it just it was easy to create this world where these two ages did not meet, and
In
did
fact,
not.
in fact, when we scouted some locate right down to when we were ready to shoot,
Right.
we were like, well, that many kids get sick or hurt? She's like, no, it's all anxiety. And yeah, and we were dumbfounded by that, by the amount of sort of how she works with school counselors. And it's a whole different world than when I went to the school nurse to get out of class or something. It was like they're going in for anxiety. So we worked all of these things into the script, but we tried to really highlight the stuff for these kids that they haven't had a movie about. Like nobody's really talked about